Beauty and the Beast. Disney's Beauty and the Beast, directed by Gary Trousdale and Kirk Wise, was released on November 22, 1991 to the American public. This movie was part of the Disney Renaissance and has since been beloved by millions. With classic songs like Be Our Guest and Beauty and the Beast, it's no wonder that this movie is still a staple in so many people's homes. The French maiden Belle is an outcast within her town. After her father gets lost in the woods, she finds herself a prisoner to a beast in his castle to spare her father's life. The beast is actually a cold-hearted prince who had been cursed by an enchantress when he was younger. He would have to feel love and be loved in return to break the curse, before the last rose petal falls. Against all odds, Beauty and the Beast fall in love and break the curse and go on to live happily ever after, as these stories often go. But how much do you really know about the classic story? The history of the tale is as vast as most fairy tales, with many different versions and variations being told over the years, from ancient Greece to a large period of French history. Just how has this tale become the one so many people are familiar with? And why are some aspects of the tale as old as time part of the story?
The earliest written variant of our tale was published in 1740 by French writer Gabrielle Suzanne Barbot de Villeneuve and was entitled La Belle et la Bête. This original version was altered by the subsequent primary author Jean-Marie Le Prince de Beaumont in 1756 and came to be the most popular telling that so many people have become familiar with. Now, there were quite a few similarities between those two tales, but also some differences that definitely stood out. One key thing that was important in Beaumont's version was the fact that Beauty did pity Beast's ugliness. And I think it was also interesting, too, that in the end, again in Beaumont's version, that Beauty was the one who actually offered to marry Beast, as opposed to Villeneuve's version, where, of course, Beast did propose. So there were those ones. And then the tale was even Americanized during the Victorian era in 1897 when the W.B. Conkey Company published another version of theirs also. Again, it did have similarities of the first two. One of the things that it kind of portrayed in its socio-historical influence at the time was the fact that courtship was more of a career move as opposed to being charged by romance. A notable historical element at the time was that Beauty and the Beast was first published was the young girls were being forced into arranged marriages. The tale helped to justify and normalize the idea of marrying a potentially older and ugly man. The tale taught girls that they should be gracious and thankful for the financial stability that a beast or beastly man would have to offer them, and that with time they could also see that an arranged husband could be quite noble and kind and just take care of them. Also during this time, it was widely agreed that sex outside of marriage was improper, which stressed the importance of accepting a proposal from a worthy man in order to please him. Again, worthy being somebody who was, financially stable and willing to take care of them. But in order to be able to fully satisfy him, young girls did themselves had to be of good nature. Their good nature is what would allow them to climb up the social ladder to even have an opportunity to marry a wealthy man or, somebody who was worthy. In addition, the tale also brings to light the model of the middle class, which was developing at the time it was written. Most tales focused on either very poor people or very high class, so this highlighted the middle class. There are many sociological aspects of this tale also. One substantial element is the overall importance of nobility. In order to be, just to be a noble person would get you the reward of having a noble person as a husband, which was the ideal candidate for a marriage at that time. If one acted sinful or improper, they would end up unhappy and be punished. It also places importance on loyalty to one's family, as we can see by Beauty's, loyalty to her father and just overall love and devotion and willing to sacrifice herself for him. Some people think that Disney's variant normalizes the idea of abuse within a domestic partnership, mostly just from the way that we can see that Beast kind of lashes out and is very angry, and she just kind of brushes it off. And furthermore, Beauty and the Beast highlights the concept of child labor when Beauty is put to work to keep her family afloat. And we can see that she does that in all three of the main variants that there were.
There are many social aspects for Beauty and the Beast. One important social aspect would be the status and the struggle of class. The story is about a wealthy merchant who lost pretty much everything that he owned and became a poor peasant. He and his children were forced to adjust to this lifestyle as they no longer were wealthy. This is to prove that wealth is not something one will have forever, and it can be taken away from them at any time in life. One important aspect would be the significance of nobility. It is a common thing to see a merchant's daughter having an arranged marriage with a nobleman. By doing so, they would be able to have both title and wealth at the same time. To be noble, one must be recognized as being noble and loyal. An honest man will live an honest life, whereas a dishonest man will live an unhappy life. Also, there are the whole marrying an older, wealthier man. Young maidens are often arranged to marry an older nobleman whom their fathers or family members found suitable for them, simply because they can take care of them and provide a good life. To tie this to the story of Beauty and the Beast would be the older wealthy man whom was to marry the young maiden, Belle. The Beast, who is very unpleasant looking, proves to be someone who has a very big heart and loves Belle dearly. Belle realizes that loving him back despite him not being good looking. French fairy tale authors who adapted the story of Beauty and the Beast also adapted stringent social religious values, which became solidified after the crisis of the Reformation period. According to Madame de Villeneuve's backstory of Beauty and the Beast, is actually the daughter of a king and a fairy, making her a princess. This would mean that she ends up getting back to her rightful place after marrying the Beast, who is a prince. So the historical aspect behind this would be to tie the goodness of nobility. She still, however, worked hard. One didn't complain about the way her life was. She just wanted to make her father proud. Another historical aspect would be women's marital rights. The tales don't really talk about it, but if the story is read carefully, it does talk about how Beauty didn't actually want to marry Beast, but she felt that she had no choice, so she decided to marry him against her will in order to save her father's life. One important change in the tale of Beauty and the Beast is in the Beast's transformation scene. In Villeneuve's original tale, Beauty marries and sleeps with the Beast, but she dreams of a man whom she falls in love with and wakes up and finds the same man sleeping next to her. This version became the building block for de Madame Jean-Marie Le Prince de Beaumont version of the fairy tale in 1757. Beaumont's message through the story was about good manners and behavior along with physical beauty. One of Velamir's most impact change was the transformation of the Beast's nightly question from "May I sleep with you tonight?" to "Will you marry me?" One of the earliest sources for Beauty and the Beast in the story is of Cupid and the Psyche. The tale appears in Metamorphoses, commonly known as the Golden Ass, written by Apelles in the 2nd century AD. The story of Cupid and Psyche share many features with Beauty and the Beast. For example, both Beauty and Psyche were sent to live with their respective beasts. Beast and Cupid are punishment. Beauty had to pay the consequences of her father stealing the roses from the Beast's garden, the Beast who was actually a prince. As for Psyche, it was for being too beautiful that Venus was jealous, so she was sent to the mountains to live with Cupid, who was actually a delightful hunk, winged god.
Learning why certain aspects are within beloved tales can only add to the majesty and beauty of them. This harkens to the next point, which is why the artists make the choices that they did. While it is a very nice picture, above all else, artists make all choices with intent and purpose, and to fully understand that intent, it is important to delve deep into the meaning of colors, lines, dress, and other aspects of the design within the pictures.
This is a stained glass window. This is pretty prominent in the beginning, or at least what I've seen of Beauty and the Beast. Okay, so color plays a major component. It gives a cold, sad effect on the viewer. The use of blues and other cool colors gives the impression that something bad is currently happening. The use of explicit lines, such as columns next to the large wooden door, signifies separation. Also, this is a major thing in photography, is what they call the rule of thirds. So as you can see, nothing is really split down the middle in this besides the rose, which is like the most important part of this image. The prince is in 1/3, as you can see. The, I guess, witch is in another third, but then there's also other things happening in the thirds too. Okay, and then, where was I? Horizontals lead your eye towards both characters as well, as you can see. So there's a horizontal right here. There's also different horizontals in like the brick and stuff like that, and also within like the water. And that all just leads your eye towards what's happening. Angles include the angle at which the prince is standing, so you can see that he's, you know, looking at the rose, and so is the witch. This image uses a huge manipulation of space. Nothing is really being wasted, as you can see. There's no blank space at all, actually. Being a stained glass window, the more color the better, obviously. And yeah, which, like I said again, is a lot of blues and cool colors, such as like purple and stuff like that. Okay, so then the second image that I used was this image. This is in the movie. This is right after like the first song, I guess, if you will. The entire village is singing about how Belle is a little bit unusual than they tend to be. She's not really at home doing any work like other women should be. She's beautiful and she's taking care of herself, and she likes to read books and stuff like that, and she has brains. Also why this is entitled The Outsider. The color is used to differentiate people and show all the different colors of the world. This also makes it more relatable to us as viewers. We can see that, I mean, no, the skin tones really aren't quite the same. People are also wearing different color outfits, so that just kind of shows how people are different. Colors also give shape to people. And, I mean, Belle is skinny, this lady's a little bit pudgy, stuff like that. It just makes it more relatable to the world as a viewer. I wouldn't really say that these colors convey a message, although the lines do say a lot. Lines in here are like the cobblestone paving and stuff like that, and like horizontals on the buildings. They just all kind of lead your eye to like the situation that's going on. Okay, so lines of sight includes the village people's eyes. You can kind of see like an implied line from like the way this guy is looking at her and all the other village people are. I mean, you can really tell that she draws attention. The effect on the viewer obviously draws attention toward the situation. There's a very useful manipulation of space. This is right after we all kind of notice her, and so right after the song is done, she kind of turns around because she can kind of feel that people are staring at her, and they notice that they've been caught and they look away right away. And yeah, and all of the people are directly at the viewer's eye line, so then it makes the viewer feel like they are really there, and it just makes it more relatable in that sense because it doesn't feel like you're looking down on anyone or anyone is like above you.
So right over here in this image, it's the iconic image of Beauty and the Beast dancing away in the ballroom. There's a lot of yellow and gold in this image with hints of blue. All the colors are warm and bright, and these colors bring the viewer feelings of happiness and enchantment. And the use of these colors convey a very warm and loving setting. Even though a lot of space isn't being used in this image, it works because if there was too much going on in the background, it would be too crowded. So as you can see, like there's a lot of empty space back here, but it does mainly focus on the details and outlines of the ballroom. And I think they did it that way just so that way it can really show that Beauty and the Beast have a lot of space to dance around the entire ballroom. Whereas if there was a lot going on back here, there wouldn't really be too much space for them to actually be in this room and having this scene of them dancing together. Like I said, there is a lot of detail going on in the design and the layout of the ballroom. So you know the details in the floor, and it has a lot of horizontal lines that leads to them, and the linings in the walls as well. And in relation to gender construction, even though the image does seem to be zoomed in on both of them, it definitely shows Beast to be much bigger than her. And I think he definitely looks much bigger than her because it's showing how he's more superior, and it's portraying Belle as looking much smaller and more delicate. And also in relation to gender identity, Belle does look more graceful in the image than Beast does. Like, you know, he looks graceful as well, but she looks like she's dancing much more effortless than he does. And I think that it's foreshadowing or hinting at that men always lead the women and they will always follow. The golden color in Belle's dress symbolizes her warmth and her loving heart. And Beast has on a blue jacket showing his nobility and bravery. And the gold trim seen in his jacket, it also shows that he has a warm heart. And the white in his shirt is showing off his purity. And then the black and the brown in his vest and his pants are showing off his masculinity. And in relation to gender identity, the man is always leading. As you can see, Beast is leading Belle in the dance, and it shows that the men always lead because they are stronger and braver. And then the woman follows for protection and security, and also shows that she trusts him to lead him in the right direction. So moving on to the second image. Now in this image is showing the iconic scene at the end of the movie where Beast's true self is revealed. And basically what's going on here, there is a lot of use of cool colors as well. As you can see back here with the blues and stuff, but because of the use of the cool colors in the background, it helps you focus on the warmth being portrayed by Beauty and the Beast. And there's a lot of implied lines as well made with the branches in the background and on the roof back here. And these implied lines actually are leading in. If you follow them, it takes you right to the center, which is focusing on Beauty and the Beast and the gaze that they have between each other, which would actually be the line of sight. As your eyes move down the image, yeah, like as I said, as your eyes move down the image, going down the roof, it's going to lead you into Beauty and the Beast. There are also the lines of sight between Belle and Beast, and they're gazing into each other's eyes, and it makes the audience feel the love from the gaze between them. And then also in this image, Beast is wearing a white fitted blouse or shirt, and Belle has on a blue coat that covers up her dress. So as you can see, the blue and the white. And Beast's shirt, it fits his upper body very well, showing off his masculinity by highlighting his muscles. Belle has on a blue coat and the blue dress under, and by having this on, it shows how feminine she is. By their clothing highlighting how much bigger Beast is than Belle, it's showing this power and strength that he has. In this image, Beast is holding Belle's face in his hands as they gaze into each other's eyes. The explicit meaning of these actions are that they have a deep connection, which is why they're gazing into each other's eyes and holding one another ever so gently. The implicit meaning of these actions are that they are in love, and the only other people they see in the world right now is each other. By Beast holding onto Belle's face ever so gently, she probably made the first move, showing his masculinity, and that guys always make the first move. Belle looks blown away by Beast and also in love, and this way, the way she is holding him and looking at him shows that she's following his lead and that women are more likely to fall in love first.
As it is shown, there is more than meets the eye with the tale as old as time. With historical aspects, sociological aspects, and visual aspects, much can be read about not only the original story itself, including its origins with Cupid and Psyche, but also into the depths of the Disney movie most people are familiar with. The depths that can be found within this story and movie are infinite, and will continue to become so with the deeper and deeper people dig into this timeless tale about true love, meaning more than looks and beauty could ever understand. And there's some further information if you would like to dig even deeper, to learn more. And here's another one that we happen to use within our tales. And there is once more. Thank you very much for your time.